How you do that, girl? Yeah, how you do that, girl? Whew. And I ain't mad about it. No. I am your man's Nic Rattlehead. And by the way, I was churning the butter. That's the new dance craze that's going to pop up every which way. But I digress. I am your man's Nic Rattlehead. And behind this camera, somewhere out in California, hopefully staying safe, watching over your boy and dealing with my antics, is my buddy, my pal, my compadre, my amigo. My man's with the master plan, 100 grand, only you, me, and God knows how much I love this guy, man. Tell him one more time, what's your name? Matt the Graff. Matt the Graff. That was me also trying to do the people's eyebrow. I'm gonna stop being stupid. And we are Aftershock Reviews, here to give you the best extreme music reviews. And today I am excited because I want to talk about See You in the Dark by Softcult. I was scouring Bandcamp, YouTube, anywhere where I can find new music. Because every now and again, as you know, most of us music lovers have, we have that little itch where we want something new, something fresh, something to just quench our thirst for new music. And that's where I was. And I was so rewarded with this EP. Now, you might hear me accidentally refer to it as an album throughout the duration of this review. Just know I'm talking about an EP, okay? But I was so rewarded because this album is a blend of like 90s grunge and 90s shoegaze, right? And they weave all of that together. So like, think of like 7 Year Bitch, pardon my language, but that's the name of the band. 7 Year Bitch and L7 and early Nirvana, right? And then take in like Allison type of slow dive. And it's such a good amalgamation of these sounds, and they do a masterful job of weaving it together, right? But Nick, before you just go on and start ranting and raving about this band, who are they? Well, Softcult is a band made up of 2 members who just so happen to be twins, Mercedes and Phoenix Arnhorn. I want to make sure I'm saying that correctly. And these 2 young ladies are wonderful because not only are they playing all of the drums and all of the guitars, but they're doing the production, they are doing the recording, the graphic design, the layout for all of the merch, everything. And I love the DIY nature of this. I love the hands-on approach that they're taking because they've already been a part of the music machine before where things were kind of dictated towards them. This is how you do things. This is how we want you to do things. You want to explore that sound? We don't want to take a risk on that. So tell you what, do it like this. And after a while, that kind of, I'm just sure that stifles your creativity. That kind of pushes you down a little bit. So I love the fact that when they form Softcult, their fingerprints are all over everything that pertains to this band, right? But not only do they have influences in shoegaze, not only do they have influences in 90s grunge, but they also have influences in Riot Girl, the Riot Girl movement of the 90s. Nick, what is the Riot Girl movement of the 90s? Well, it is an underground feminist, third wave of feminism, I believe, punk movement for women, and it was wonderful. I'm sure everybody's kind of heard of Bikini Kill. If anything, that might be the most popular band that is associated with that movement, but I know there was another one, I think it's called Sex Stain. I tried to listen to a little bit of it, and I think it was actually really good, but I digress. Yet again, this is your boy. I can rant if I want to. But they have elements in that as well as far as their lyricism is concerned. What is it trying to be a woman in 2003, 2002, this modern day, right? What are they dealing with? And it's talking about those different problems. It's talking about empowering these women through that. But also, if you're talking about the Riot Girl scene, just like any scene, whether it was grunge or death metal, they had a style of dress. They had a way that they kind of spoke to each other. They even had zines. Okay, why am I so excited about zines? Because I'm sure most of us who are indoctrinated in death metal or black metal or grunge or anything else like that, we know what a zine is. But for everybody else who doesn't know, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a magazine. It's a magazine that talks about, okay, here's an up-and-coming band, right? Or here is like a tour schedule of another band, right? Or, check me out, they're even talking about what the ideology of that band or bands are, or what is their political stances at the time. It's so wonderful, right? And Softcult has their own zine that they make on a monthly basis called Scripture. I think they're on volume 28 at this point. And it is so good. I love the design. I love the layout as a, graphic designer / UX designer, UI designer. I love the attention to detail that they're doing. And I think even when it comes to this one, they're talking about what is sex versus gender versus sexuality, and what do the people of the LGBTQIA plus community, what are they having to deal with so far as opposition from the political standpoint? Or what are they talking about so far as the opposition from society, right? And what are those different hurdles they have to jump? Especially, I think they were focusing more towards the transgender community in this one. And then the call to action, what can you do to help? It's wonderful. But the reason I'm also bringing this stuff up is they make their way into the lyrics of these tracks on this EP album. And it's good. And let's talk about Drain, right? Because Drain is a mid-tempo grunge track. That's what it is. And what they do, yet again, I have to take one more little side road, right? Because I promise you it pertains to this album. They do a good job of crafting wonderful melodies and harmonies, catchy hooks that are expounded upon throughout the duration of these tracks. Nowadays, more of the popular music is trying to set a vibe, right? It's trying to set an atmosphere, be a backdrop to what's going on to the listener at the time, which I don't think there's really anything wrong with, but it really pertains to that moment. And as an example, like people will make a track that kind of fits within like 15 seconds of a TikTok, right? Or 25 to 30 seconds of an Instagram post, which I don't think there's anything wrong with, or it serves as a backdrop to you just chilling with your friends, something that you put on in the background. But I'm starting to notice that the art of making the chorus, the art of making the hook, the art of having something to say in the mainstream or something that has a little bit more attention, that's kind of starting to kind of veer away from our music. But Softcult brings it back, polishes it off, and gives you it as something new, and it's wonderful because the chorus of Drain talking about how beautiful it is to get old and how they look forward to it, enjoying their life. It's so good. And the thing about it is, yes, it has the heavy grunge guitars in it. It's wonderful. But on top of that, though, that strong melody is shot through the mix by it's these synths, these soaring anthemic synths. It's wonderful. And I love the drumming. I think it's Phoenix who is the drummer here. And she does a good job of staying in the pocket, but then giving you understated drum fills that kind of spice the track up just a little bit without detracting from what Mercedes, I'm making sure that I'm getting everybody's name right. It doesn't detract from what Mercedes is doing with her guitar work and her beautiful vocals. And if we're talking about vocals, these two, especially when it comes to their harmony, is damn near angelic. And yet again, you know what? Y'all understand where I'm coming from. I don't like to curse too much, but when I get so into the music, it's wonderful. And Drain is a great intro to this track. But then we go into Dress. On a sonic level, surface level, Dress sounds like a punk track, which it is. And it sounds boppy. It sounds fun. It sounds like something that you would put on a track when you're hanging out with your friends, with the windows down, arms hanging out the window, having a good time with the breeze in your hair. But if you listen to the lyrical content, it's a little bit more ominous than that, because what they're talking about, and I want to make sure that I'll pull this up as well, it's talking about young ladies or a young lady out with their friends and then seeing somebody off in the distance, somebody off in the dark, and then wondering if that person is actually going to attack them or not, just based on the way that they dress. They probably saw them from a distance, said, oh man, that girl fun. All right, that's cool. I'm about to go say something. But then it makes the young lady uncomfortable. She probably is already like shot down his advances, and he's probably not appreciating that very much. So what is going to happen to her now? She's wondering if she's going to make it out of this confrontation. She's hoping that she can make it home. And it's a thing that I know for a fact a lot of women have to deal with. I have friends, like even when we would come back from church, right? And they would be like, well, I can't stop by the gas station. I'll be like, well, why can't you go by the gas station? Your tank is literally on E. And they'll tell me, I don't feel comfortable going to the gas station when the sun goes down. I'm like, why is that? Because men hit on them. And then if the young lady, or most of my friends that actually do, they kind of like turn the men down a little bit. They'll be like, you know what? I'm not interested. Thank you. They get called all kinds of names. They get threatened with violence, or they just don't even know how to take no for an answer. So it makes the young lady uncomfortable. My dress, the way that I'm dressing, is not an invitation for you to come over here and take what you want. And I love that sentiment when it comes to this track, because they're surfacing real problems that women face. Yet again, going back to the ideology of the riot girl. This is quintessential riot girl. And even I wanted to talk about what Mercedes said about this track, and I'm going to go ahead and read this to you verbatim. She says, this song is about consent. It's about saying no and having it happen to you anyway. It's about being followed while working alone or walking alone at night, or being cornered in a bar when you're just trying to have a night out with your friends. It's about the lingering fear and trauma that haunts us long after these experiences have happened. It's about how these experiences, make us feel powerless and change the way we see ourselves. That's strong. That's strong, but they do a wonderful job of coupling it with that bouncy instrumentation, right? So you're having fun, but there's layers to this now, right? It's like Shrek. There's layers to this, and you got to peel those back to catch it, right? But it's so wonderful. And after this loaded track that is Dress, you get One in a Million, right? And I'm just going to be bouncing across this for the sake of time so Matt doesn't have a fit with me, because I have another 27-minute long video. But we get to One in a Million, and I love One in a Million because it brings in a little bit more of that dream pop, right? And we even start to get traces of an acoustic guitar. It's starting to come through the mix a little bit more, but it makes the track feel a little bit softer. And I love that about this track, right? It's absolutely wonderful. The vocal harmonies, those soft, angelic vocal harmonies. These two young ladies have done a good job. They even said in the video where they would practice their vocal harmonies when their dad would drive them around. They call their dad the MVP because he would be the one taking them to these studio sessions, or he would be the one taking them to these practices, right? And they would practice these vocal harmonies. Well, they are reaping the freaking benefits of all of that practice and all of that time and all of that work, because dag nabbit, do they sound good here. But I want to talk about it. I want to talk about the best song off of this album, to me. On top of that, it might be, so far as midway through 2023 is concerned, my favorite song. I want to talk about Love Song. Love Song, to me, is the most entrancing song from this year. And I'll tell you why. Because the song's subject matter is simply about Phoenix's partner, her lover. Her name is Liz. I think that's how her name is, Lyss. And she's talking about, she saw someone die on the evening news, and she doesn't know how she would even conceptualize if it was her partner, right? And talking about how she gets so carried away to the point where she loses herself. She surrenders herself to that love. She surrenders herself to her partner. And I'm sure Liz, her partner, is also doing the same thing to her. And they continue to reminisce, even when they're talking about slow dancing in a living room, a tender moment like that of just slow dancing. And you start to get that imagery in your head, right? Of them just pressed up close against each other. Maybe they're laughing, maybe they're not. Maybe Liz's head is in the shoulder of Phoenix. It's so good. It's, for the love of Mike, is it good? And all this lyrical content, all of this is juxtaposed to this beautiful shoegaze dream pop soundscape. Yes, it sounds cavernous. There's reverb and delay everywhere. It is so Softcult. It is so 90s shoegaze, but it is beautiful, right? And again, the melody. I get so carried away. Yes, I'm going to sing it. I don't care what you think of me. I get so carried away. It's so good. And then it goes to I think one of the best lyrical portions of this album. Oh, inevitably. I think think that's how it goes. I surrender everything. Hey, it's good. God, yo, is it good? It is so encompassing, so enthralling, so entrancing, so downright beautiful. It is. And to me, again, this is quintessential songwriting. It's setting that vibe that we all love nowadays, right? But the hook is there. The songwriting is there. The lyrical imagery is there, right? Even as it fades from that chorus into some type of soaring guitar work that, to me, is cut off prematurely. And that's my only gripe, because it's so good. I think this track is no more than 2 minutes and 51 seconds. I think that's what it is. I wish it was 3 minutes and 51. I could have took, especially at the end of this track, where I think it's like for maybe like 38 seconds or something, where it's just this beautiful guitar work. Mercedes and Phoenix's voices are bouncing everywhere, but it's all encompassing, and it is swallowing you in a torrential downpour of bliss and happiness and joy and peace. It's good. Damn it, is it good? Look, let me tell you something. This EP right here is fighting to be number one on my list, because I love things like this. I love tracks where I can just get lost in it, relax to it, or if I want to, I can dig deeper into the track's meaning, dig deeper into the EP's meaning, and then see what the mindset of the artist is. This is good. This is good. This is good. Ain't nothing to do about it. The name of this EP again is called See You in the Dark by Softcult. I'll leave links in the description below so you can go and get their albums. You can go get tote bags. I think they've even got Softcult socks, so I need to step my sock game up. So I might actually try to grip one of them. On top of that, they're even going on tour. They're going on tour. And believe you me, when they come to Atlanta, I will be there in the audience. I might be the only dude. I don't care. But I will be there, and I will be singing my heart away to this whole EP. And even then, they have other 2 EPs, Year of the Rat and Year of the Snake. And that thing on Year of the Snake, my favorite track is Perfect Blue. Ooh, yet again, good songwriting. Good song. I'm a rant. Let me stop. I love this thing. And I highly believe that you would too. Anybody who's a fan of shoegaze, anybody who's a fan of dream pop will love this. I am your man's Nic Rattlehead. And behind this camera somewhere out in California, probably shaking his head on how much I tend to rant, but he's rocking with me anyway. It's my buddy, my pal, my compadre, my amigo. Tell him one more time, what's your name? Matt the Graff. Matt the Graff. I kept it under 20 minutes, buddy. Wash your hands. Support your bands. Peace. I get so carried